Hello, and welcome back to your calm space for building better English step by step. Today, we are going to fix the one specific mistake that makes even advanced learners sound accidentally rude in important meetings. Picture this. You are in a strategy meeting. Your boss suggests a timeline that is impossible. You panic, and you translate directly from your native language. No, we cannot do that. The room goes silent. The boss looks offended. You didn't mean to be aggressive, but your English lacked the cushion.
I actually lost a major client years ago because I told them, "You are wrong," instead of, "I see it differently." I just didn't know the softeners yet.
In this hour, we will master the art of the softener so you can disagree with anyone, anywhere, and still sound polite and professional.
It really is an art, isn't it? It feels like dancing. You have to move with the other person before you can turn them in a new direction. When I first started working in an English-speaking office, I thought efficiency was the most important thing. I thought being honest meant being direct. If an idea was bad, I said, "That is a bad idea." I thought I was being helpful. I thought I was saving everyone time.
That is such a common misunderstanding. In many cultures, directness is a sign of respect. It shows you trust the person enough to tell them the truth without decoration. But in professional English environments, especially in the UK, the US, and Canada, direct disagreement without a softener or a cushion can feel like a personal attack. It creates a sudden stop in the energy of the room.
Exactly. I remember the faces of my colleagues. They would look down at their notebooks or shift in their chairs. I felt the atmosphere change, but I didn't have the language tools to fix it. I just kept talking, trying to explain my logic, which only made me sound more aggressive. I was digging a hole for myself.
That feeling of digging a hole is terrible. You know something is wrong, but the more you speak, the worse it gets. Today, we are going to give you the ladder to climb out of that hole, or better yet, to avoid falling into it in the first place. We are going to break down the direct translation trap. Then we will build your toolkit with 3 specific techniques: the validation sandwich, the passive shield, and the hesitation marker.
I love the sound of the validation sandwich. It sounds much more delicious than a direct no.
It is definitely easier to swallow. Let's start by looking at why the word no is so dangerous. In a professional setting, a direct no closes the door. It signals that the conversation is over. It puts you on one side and your boss or colleague on the other. It creates a conflict instead of a collaboration.
So if my boss says, "Can we finish this project by Friday?" and I know it is impossible, I cannot just say no, but I also cannot lie and say yes. So what do?
You need to deliver the no wrapped in a layer of softness. This is what we call the direct translation trap. In your head, in your native language, the sentence might be simple, impossible, or we cannot do it. If you translate that directly, you get, it is impossible. Grammatically, that is perfect. Socially, it is a disaster.
It sounds like I am refusing to work hard. It sounds like I am being difficult.
Exactly. So step 1 is to recognize when you are about to fall into this trap. The trigger is usually an emotion. You feel pressure. You feel that something is wrong. Your brain screams, no. When you hear that scream in your head, that is your signal to pause. Take a breath. Do not let the no come out of your mouth yet.
That pause is powerful. It gives you a second to switch gears. It gives you a moment to find the cushion.
Let's practice that pause. Imagine the scenario. Your boss says, "I need this report on my desk in an hour." You know it takes 3 hours to write. Feel the panic. Feel the no rising in your throat. Now stop. Take a breath.
Okay, I am pausing. I am not saying no. But silence is also awkward. What do I say during the pause?
This brings us to our first major technique, the validation sandwich. Before you give the bad news or the disagreement, you must validate the other person. You must show them that you heard them and that you respect their request.
So I am validating them, not agreeing with them. That is a key distinction. I am not saying, "Yes, I will do it." I am saying, "I understand why you want it."
Precisely. Validation connects you. It keeps the door open. Let's look at some very specific phrases for this. I want you to listen to the rhythm of these phrases. They are usually spoken with a slightly lower, calmer pitch than a normal sentence. Here is the first one. I see exactly where you are coming from.
I see exactly where you are coming from. That feels nice. It implies that I have taken a moment to stand in their shoes.
Yes. Let's try another one. I understand why that is a priority for you.
I understand why that is a priority for you. That is good for the boss scenario. It shows I care about their goals.
And a third one, which is very versatile. That is a valid point.
That is a valid point. Short, simple, respectful.
Now, let's do some shadow practice. I will say the phrase, leave a pause for you to repeat it, and then Daniel will say it again to reinforce the natural rhythm. Listen to the intonation. It goes up slightly at the end to show openness. I see exactly where you are coming from.
I see exactly where you are coming from.
I understand why that is a priority.
I understand why that is a priority.
That is a fair suggestion.
That is a fair suggestion.
Good. Now, this is just the top slice of the sandwich. You have validated them. Now you have to insert the meat of the sandwich, the disagreement or the problem, but you cannot use the word but.
Wait, I use but all the time. I see your point, but we have no money. That is a fair suggestion, but we don't have time. What is wrong with but?
The word but erases everything you said before it. If you say, you are a great employee, but you missed the deadline, the employee only hears about the deadline. The but tells the listener, here comes the bad news, ignore the compliment. It creates a hard wall.
It really does. It feels like a slap. So what do we use instead?
We use smoother transitions, words like however or although, or my favorite technique, substituting and or simply pausing, or phrasing the problem as a shared challenge.
Can you give us an example of the however transition?
Certainly. Let's go back to the boss who wants the report in 1 hour. Version with but. I understand it is urgent, but I cannot finish it in an hour. Version with however. I understand it is urgent. However, to ensure the data is accurate, I will need closer to 3 hours.
Oh, that is much better. The however feels logical, not emotional. It feels like you are adding information, not blocking the request.
Exactly. It frames the delay as a benefit to the boss, to ensure the data is accurate. You are not saying, I can't do it. You are saying the quality requires more time.
Let's practice some of these bridges. I struggle with actually. Is actually a good bridge?
Actually is tricky. It can sound corrective, like a teacher correcting a student. Actually, Paris is the capital of France. If you use it to disagree, be careful with your tone. It needs to be soft. Actually, I have a slightly different concern. That works. But actually, you are wrong is very aggressive.
I see. So however is safer for formal situations.
Yes, let's practice the however bridge combined with the validation. I will give you a prompt, a bad idea from a colleague, and I want you to practice responding. Scenario: your colleague suggests using a very expensive software for a small project. Step 1. Validate. I see why that software would be powerful. Step 2. Bridge with however. However, considering our budget for this specific project. Step 3. The alternative. We will get to this later. Let's shadow that full sequence. Listen and repeat. I see why that software would be powerful. However, considering our budget.
I see why that software would be powerful. However, considering our budget.
Notice I didn't say it is too expensive. I said considering our budget. This brings us to our next major tool, the passive shield.
The passive shield. This sounds like a superpower ability.
It is a superpower in meetings. It protects you and it protects the other person. In active voice, we usually need a subject, someone who is doing the action. You made a mistake. You forgot the attachment. You calculated the numbers wrong.
Ouch. Hearing those examples makes me flinch. It puts the blame 100% on me. If someone says, you calculated the numbers wrong, I immediately feel defensive. I want to fight back.
And that is exactly what we want to avoid. When people feel defensive, they stop listening. They stop collaborating. The passive shield removes the you from the sentence. It focuses on the object or the situation, not the person.
So instead of you made a mistake, we say a mistake was made?
Yes, although that is a bit of a cliche now. Let's try to be more specific. Instead of you calculated the numbers wrong, we can say, it seems there is a discrepancy in the numbers.
It seems there is a discrepancy. That is beautiful. The discrepancy is the problem, not me. We can both look at the discrepancy together and fix it.
Exactly. You are moving to the same side of the table. You are looking at the problem together. Let's try another one. Imagine a colleague is late with a delivery. Aggressive/active. You are late with the draft. Passive/softened. The draft has not arrived yet.
The draft has not arrived yet. It sounds like a fact. It is objective. It doesn't accuse.
Let's try one about a bad idea. Aggressive. You didn't understand the client's brief. Passive/softened. It appears there might be a misunderstanding regarding the brief.
It appears there might be a misunderstanding. I love it appears. It is so gentle. It suggests that maybe I am the one who is confused. It creates space for correction without shame.
It appears and it seems are your best friends. They are what we call hedges. They make your statement less absolute. When you say, "This is wrong," it is 100% absolute. When you say, "It seems this might be incorrect," you leave 10% room for doubt. That 10% is where politeness lives.
I think that is the hardest part for learners. We spend so much time learning to be accurate and precise. We want to say things clearly. And now you are telling us to be vague. It seems, it appears, might be, could be. It feels like we are making our English worse.
I understand that frustration completely. You work hard to be clear, and now I am telling you to be fuzzy. But think of it this way. You are not being vague about the facts. You are being soft about the impact. You are wrapping the sharp rock in cotton wool. The rock is still there, the point is still made, but it doesn't leave a bruise.
That is a great analogy. The rock is the fact. The cotton wool is the language.
Let's practice wrapping some rocks. I am going to give you a rock sentence, a hard, direct fact. I want you to listen to how we wrap it in cotton using the passive shield and hedges. Rock. This plan will fail. Cotton. I have some concerns that this plan might not achieve our goals.
I have some concerns that this plan might not achieve our goals.
Notice will fail became might not achieve. It is softer, but the meaning is clear. We need to change the plan. Rock. We don't have enough money. Cotton. It seems the budget might be a bit tight for this scope.
It seems the budget might be a bit tight for this scope.
Tight is a great professional euphemism for not enough money. Rock. I disagree. Cotton. I actually have a slightly different perspective on this.
I actually have a slightly different perspective on this.
Let's shadow that one again. It is very useful. I actually have a slightly different perspective.
I actually have a slightly different perspective.
Now, let's combine everything we have done so far, the validation, the bridge, and the passive shield. We are building a full response now.
Okay, give me a scenario. I'm ready.
Scenario. You are in a team meeting. A junior colleague suggests launching a marketing campaign during a major national holiday when everyone is offline. It is a terrible idea. You need to stop it, but you want to encourage their creativity.
Okay, if I am direct, I say, that is a bad idea. Nobody will see it.
Correct. That crushes their spirit. Now, let's use our tools. Step 1, validate. That is a really creative angle. Step 2, bridge. However, step 3, passive shield/hedge. There is a concern that engagement might be lower during the holiday period. Let's put it together. Listen to the flow. That is a really creative angle. However, there is a concern that engagement might be lower during the holiday period.
That is a really creative angle. However, there is a concern that engagement might be lower during the holiday period.
How does that feel, Daniel?
It feels safe. It feels like I am a mentor, not a critic. I'm pointing out a risk. Engagement might be lower. I'm not attacking the person.
Exactly. You are pointing at the risk on the whiteboard, not pointing your finger at the person's face. That is the essence of professional pushback. I noticed you use the word concern. There is a concern. Is that a common word in these situations? Yes, concern is a magic word in business English. Problem sounds heavy and negative. Concern sounds proactive. It sounds like you are looking out for the company's best interests. My main concern is, I have a slight concern about. It's a very professional way to introduce a negative point. I am writing that down mentally. Concern over problem. Now, before we move to our final technique, the hesitation marker, I want to take a brief moment to remind you why we are doing this. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the psychology of English and you want to continue building your confidence step by step, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us keep creating these calm, long-form lessons for you.
And if you have a specific scenario at work where you struggle to say no, let us know in the comments. We might use it for a future practice session.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about hesitation markers. Daniel, have you ever noticed that native speakers often make noises before they disagree? They say things like, or well, or they take a long, audible breath.
Yes, it used to annoy me. I thought, just say it. But now I realize it's a signal.
It's like a traffic light turning yellow before it turns red.
That is a perfect description. It is a yellow light. It warns the listener, I am about to say something that isn't a total yes. If you answer immediately with a disagreement, it feels like a slap. It's too fast. The hesitation buys time and softens the blow.
So if you ask me, do you like the new logo? And I instantly say no, that is rude. But if I say, well, it's definitely striking.
Exactly. The silence, the the well, these are functional parts of the language. They are not mistakes. They are politeness markers.
So we should practice saying, well?
Yes, specifically the well with a rising tone. Well. It signals hesitation. Also, the phrase, to be honest or to be fair.
To be honest is one I hear a lot. To be honest, I am not sure that works.
Be careful with to be honest. Sometimes it can imply that you were not being honest before. A softer version is to be perfectly frank or simply in all honesty. Or, even better, use the soft opener phrases we discussed earlier as your hesitation. I don't know.
I don't know is a disagreement?
Often, yes. If someone says, we should fire the agency, and you say, I don't know, you are not saying you lack knowledge. You are saying you disagree. You are expressing doubt.
That is subtle. I don't know usually means I don't have the answer, but here it means I don't agree with your answer.
Context is key. If the tone is slow and thoughtful, I don't know about that. It is a soft rejection. It invites the other person to convince you, or it allows you to present a counter-argument gently.
Let's practice the hesitation start. I'll suggest something, and you show me how to start the disagreement with a hesitation.
Okay, suggest something risky.
Sophie, I think we should rewrite the entire script from scratch.
Well, that is certainly a bold idea. My concern would be the timeline.
I heard the I heard the well, and I heard the validation, bold idea. You didn't say, no, that is crazy. You said it was bold.
Bold is another great euphemism. It can mean creative, but it can also mean too risky. It is a polite way to flag danger. Now I want to introduce the final piece of our puzzle, the alternative bridge. We talked about however, but sometimes you need to offer a solution immediately. This is how you turn a no into a yes if.
The yes-if strategy. I like that. It feels positive.
Instead of blocking the request, you redirect it. You offer a condition under which it could work. Example, boss says, I need this by 5 p.m. Direct no, I cannot do that. Alternative bridge, I can get you a draft by 5 p.m., but the final version would need to wait until tomorrow morning. You said I can. You started with the positive. Yes, I can do X if Y, or I would be happy to do X provided that Y.
I would be happy to is such a strong phrase. It shows willingness. I would be happy to help with this project, provided we can push the deadline back a week.
It changes the dynamic completely. You are not refusing work, you are negotiating conditions. You are an ally who wants to help but has constraints.
What if I really cannot do it at all? What if the answer is a hard no?
Then you offer an alternative solution that doesn't involve you. I am fully booked this week, but perhaps Sarah has some bandwidth. I cannot take this on right now, but I can recommend a freelancer who would be great for this.
You are still solving the problem. The boss has a problem. Work needs to be done. You are not taking the monkey on your back, but you are showing them where the monkey can go.
Precisely. You are being helpful even while saying no. That is the ultimate goal of the professional pushback. You preserve the relationship, you preserve your reputation as a helpful person, but you protect your boundaries.
This is so much to think about. It's like learning a new grammar, but for emotions.
It is. And like any grammar, it requires repetition to become automatic. So for the next section of our lesson, we are going to do a sustained simulation drill. We are going to take 3 distinct scenarios, the deadline, the budget, and the bad idea, and we are going to roleplay the bad version and then the fixed version. I want you to shadow the fixed version out loud. Even if you are on the train or walking, try to mutter the words. You need to feel the length of the sentences. Polite English is often longer than direct English.
That is true. No is 1 syllable. I see your point. However, I have a concern is 12 syllables. You need to get used to taking up that much space in the conversation.
Exactly. Do not rush. Rushing sounds panic-induced. Slow down, use the extra syllables to calm the room. Scenario 1, the deadline. Context. You are talking to a client. They want a new feature added to the product, ready for launch next week. It is physically impossible without crashing the system. Bad version. Direct. No, we cannot add that. It will crash the system. We don't have time. Wow, I can feel the client getting angry already. It sounds like you don't care about their feature. Now, let's build the fixed version. Step 1. Validate the feature. That feature would definitely add value for the users. Step 2. The hesitation/bridge. Actually, looking at the technical requirements. Step 3. The passive shield/risk. There is a significant risk that rushing this implementation could destabilize the main system. Step 4. The alternative. What we can do is schedule this for the Phase 2 update next month. Let's put it all together. Listen to the melody. That feature would definitely add value for the users. Actually, looking at the technical requirements, there is a significant risk that rushing this implementation could destabilize the main system. What we can do is schedule this for the Phase 2 update next month.
It is long, but it is clear, and it ends on a positive note, the Phase 2 update.
Now you try. I will break it into 2 chunks for shadowing. Chunk 1. That feature would definitely add value for the users. Actually, looking at the technical requirements,
That feature would definitely add value for the users. Actually, looking at the technical requirements,
Chunk 2. There is a significant risk that rushing this implementation could destabilize the main system.
there is a significant risk that rushing this implementation could destabilize the main system.
Chunk 3. What we can do is schedule this for the Phase 2 update next month.
What we can do is schedule this for the Phase 2 update next month.
Excellent. Notice the phrase, what we can do is. This is a very powerful pivot phrase. It moves the brain from the problem to the solution.
I like that. It signals, here is the plan. It shows leadership.
Scenario 2. The budget. Context. Your department head wants to cut your training budget. You need that budget for your team's development. You need to fight for it, but he is your boss. Bad version. Direct. You can't cut the budget. My team needs it. It is unfair.
That sounds like a child complaining to a parent. It is unfair. That will not work in a boardroom.
Correct. It sounds emotional and accusatory. You can't. Fixed version. Step 1. Validate the pressure. I understand we need to reduce costs across the department. Step 2. The bridge with concern. However, I have a strong concern about the long-term impact on the team's skills. Step 3. The passive objective fact. If the training is canceled, there is a high probability that our certification levels will drop. Step 4. The request alternative. Could we perhaps look at reducing the travel budget instead?
Listen to the whole thing.
I understand we need to reduce costs across the department. However, I have a strong concern about the long-term impact on the team's fills. If the training is canceled, there is a high probability that our certification levels will drop. Could we perhaps look at reducing the travel budget instead?
It sounds so rational. You are trading one budget for another. You are speaking the boss's language, costs, impact, probability.
Shadowing time. Chunk 1. I understand we need to reduce costs across the department. However, I have a strong concern about the long-term impact.
I understand we need to reduce costs across the department. However, I have a strong concern about the long-term impact.
Chunk 2. On the team skills. If the training is canceled, there is a high probability that our certification levels will drop.
On the team skills, if the training is canceled, there is a high probability that our certification levels will drop.
Chunk 3. Could we perhaps look at reducing the travel budget instead?
Could we perhaps look at reducing the travel budget instead?
Note the word perhaps in the request. Could we perhaps? It makes the suggestion soft. It is an invitation to discuss, not a demand.
Perhaps is such a useful little word. It lowers the temperature of any sentence.
Scenario 3. The personal overload. Context. A colleague asks you to join a committee. You are already working 60 hours a week. You physically cannot do it. Bad version. No, I am too busy. Ask someone else. Dismissive. Rude. It creates distance. Fixed version. Step 1. Validate gratitude. I am really flattered that you thought of me for this. Step 2. The soft refusal. Unfortunately, my plate is completely full with the merger project right now. Step 3. The consequence, self-deprecation. I wouldn't be able to give the committee the attention it deserves. Step 4. The recommendation. Have you asked Julia? She was looking for a new challenge.
I wouldn't be able to give it the attention it deserves. That is genius. You are saying no because you care too much. You are saying, I want to do a good job and I can't, so I won't. It frames the refusal as a professional standard.
Exactly. It makes the no sound noble. Let's listen to the full flow. I am really flattered that you thought of me for this. Unfortunately, my plate is completely full with the merger project right now. I wouldn't be able to give the committee the attention it deserves. Have you asked Julia?
My plate is full. Is that a common idiom?
Very common. My plate is full, or I have a lot on my plate. It is a visual way to say I am busy without complaining. Shadowing time. Chunk 1. I am really flattered that you thought of me for this. Unfortunately, my plate is completely full.
I am really flattered that you thought of me for this. Unfortunately, my plate is completely full.
With the merger project right now, I wouldn't be able to give the committee the attention it deserves.
With the merger project right now, I wouldn't be able to give the committee the attention it deserves.
Have you asked Julia?
Have you asked Julia?
You are doing great, Daniel. Can you feel the difference in energy between the bad versions and the fixed versions?
The bad versions feel tight. My chest feels tight when I say them. The fixed versions feel open. I can breathe. Even though I am disagreeing, I feel relaxed.
That relaxation is contagious. When you are relaxed, the person you are talking to relaxes. And when they are relaxed, they are more likely to accept your no or your alternative idea.
It really is about control. When you just react with no, you have lost control. When you use these patterns, you are steering the ship.
Steering the ship is the perfect image. You are the captain of the conversation. We have covered a lot of ground today. We looked at the direct translation trap. We practiced the validation sandwich. I see your point. We used the passive shield. A mistake was made. We learned about hesitation markers. Well, and we built alternative bridges. What we can do is...
It is a full toolkit, but don't feel overwhelmed if you cannot use them all tomorrow. Just pick one.
That brings us to our closing challenge. We always want you to take one small step immediately. Here is your challenge. For the next 24 hours, I want you to audit your emails before you press send.
Oh, emails are a great place to start because you have time to think. You can edit.
Exactly. Look at your drafts. If you see a sentence that starts with no, but, or you, I want you to rewrite it. Change but to however. Change you didn't to it seems there was a misunderstanding. Change no to unfortunately I am unable to.
Just one change per email. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to soften one sharp edge.
If you do this consistently, you will notice a change in how people reply to you. They will be friendlier. They will be more helpful because you are treating them with linguistic respect. Thank you for spending this hour with us. You are building a powerful skill that goes beyond just grammar. You are learning the culture of communication.
Keep practicing those softeners. Your future self in that big meeting will thank you.
Have a wonderful, calm week of study. We will speak to you again very soon.